Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Angola, Cold War Struggle in Africa. This is a game designed by Joseph Miranda and is published by Decision Games through Strategy and Tactics Magazine, issue number 290, January-February 2015. This issue right here. We're not going to be taking a look at the magazine, we're just going to concentrate on the game. And this is an operational level game that is set during the 1987-88 campaign, which was the culmination of the Civil War in Angola. And I've always been intrigued by the different conflicts in Africa, and this is one of the biggest ones that everybody's familiar with, especially wargamers. If you played Angola from M&P, you're already familiar with this subject matter, but it's great to see more modern era games that have come out through Strategy and Tactics, and we will hopefully get to see more of them, being that we do not have Modern War magazine anymore. So let's dive in and see what components you get with this magazine game. All right, we start off with our rulebook, our counter sheet, and our map. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the map that comes with the game. You've got Angola in the center, Zaire at the bottom right, and Southwest Africa at the top left. Below that, you have the map key. And at the top, you have all of the charts and tables that you're going to need for the game. Terrain effects chart, assault combat results table, and the international events tables along the top. In the middle there, we've got the refit table, air combat table, and the air combat results tables. On the left and right sides, you've got your anti-communist command chart and your communist command chart, as well as your turn tracks that you're going to be using for both. Now, when I play this, I'm going to be turning it sideways rather than straight up and down, but this is the way it's oriented for view, so wanted to give you a good look at it, and you can get a good look at the map itself by looking at it straight up and down. Really well done map. All the information's right there on it for you, so I don't think you'll need anything extra. But of course, when you play solitaire, being that you have the information on either side, you'll need scans and print copies of both of those, unless they come with the rules, which we'll see when we take a look at those. So that way you can play without having to, crane your neck on the other side and move counters over there. You can do it all on the same side you're playing on. But really looking forward to playing this game. Angola has always been a very compelling conflict. And here's a look at the counter sheet that comes with the game. You've got multiple factions that are involved in this. SADF, FAPLA, CIA, SWAPO, UNITA, FINLA, FLEC, and then your East Bloc forces on the right-hand side, along with all of your administrative counters along the bottom. Standard quality thin counters that we get from Strategy and Tactics, which I've always been a fan of because they're real easy to clip and you don't have any problems with stacking them. And we'll take a look at the rules last. This is a 15-page full-color rulebook. We have the table of contents on the top left, listing out all the different rule sections. Start off with the introduction, get into game scale, your counters, all of the different factions that are in the game, the different units, all the different acronyms in the game, because being that you have multiple factions, there's going to be a lot more acronyms that you'll need to be paying attention to. You have your admin counters, then we have the setup and sequence of play on page 3. For the sequence of play, we have the planning phase, Psy-War phase, operations phases, which breaks down to your first operations phase, reinforcement subphase, refit subphase, movement subphase, air subphase, combat subphase, and the second operations phase. Then we have the subsequent operations phases, then the game turn interphase, which has your return phase and the game turn advance. Factions and activations, faction sequencing, pertinent operations phase, special operations markers, and you can see here these blue examples. They're just text examples. Don't expect a lot of illustrated examples in these magazine game rule books. Drawing opponent's faction, disposition of command markers, faction marker permanence, international events tables, movement, stacking, zones of control, elite units, multiple ZOCs, ZOC and movement, ZOC and combat. Ground combat we get into on page 6. Breaks down all the steps of your combat, as well as things like base support, terrain effects on combat, your hex sides, column shifts, all the stuff you'll need for your combat. That continues on to page 8. Then we get into retreats, bases and retreating, pursuits, reinforcements. Then we have communist reinforcement placement, guerrilla placement, restrictions, international events, reinforcement placement, and air mobile reinforcements. Then we have refits, bases and support, air power, air superiority missions, close support missions, interdiction missions, all the things you can do with your air. Then you have your air defense units, fog of war, weather, and then we get into our scenarios. We have the Angola scenario, and I think that may be the only one. So there's only one scenario that comes with this. We'll have to check and see if there's any extras that have been made since this game came out. And we are at the back of the rulebook. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Angola, Cold War Struggle in Africa. This is a game designed by Joseph Miranda and is published by Decision Games through Strategy and Tactics Magazine, issue number 290, January, February 2015, this issue right here. Well, if you have played any of the Decision Games magazine games, you know exactly what to expect. You're going to get the same quality counters, rule format, and maps that you get in all of them. They're very consistent in that. Now, I know a lot of people don't love magazine games. You know, there are people that feel that they're just not worth their time or they're just not developed enough. And yeah, there have been some real hot messes with these magazine games, but there have also been some real gems. So don't just discount them and write them off, especially when it comes to these topics like Angola. These are lesser known topics. It's great to see them covered in a war game magazine, and I'd love to see more of them, as well as box game versions of these games come out, because Africa has had so many conflicts that I think a lot of them are overlooked, and I would love to see more coverage of them in the future. Now, everybody's familiar with Angola from MMP. If you've not played it, you need to play it, especially if you like 4-player counterinsurgency style games. That is the game for it. That is exactly what you want right there. Coin system was derived from that. It was inspired by that, but it is so abstract that to me, it's run its course for me. Coin, it was cool at first, but the Eurification of everything is so abstract that I just can't get into it. Whereas you play Angola from MMP, that it just draws you right in. You are really in the middle of a knockdown, drag out fight for about 5, 6, 7 hours, and it's a lot of fun. When it comes to this one looks like it'll be a lot easier to play, and you can play it solitaire because you're not going to have to worry about hidden information that you do with MMP's version with the cards and ordering your cards for your orders in a certain sequence. So that is going to be great too. But if you're interested in the Angolan conflict, this is definitely one I think you should check out. I'm looking forward to getting this one on the table and hope it matches my expectations. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you're curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.